Right, leg day. Now this is something totally new to me. I'm really not used to filming myself to do stuff like this. I've never done anything, I've always had a cameraman, so I'm actually talking to my phone in the middle of the gym is a little bit odd, but here we go. So I'm going to take you guys through my typical leg day. Um, I go a lot off field. I spent a lot of my bodybuilding career going through the movements I thought were going to be beneficial, and in return, I probably gathered a few injuries and a few, unprogressive lifts in a sense over a long period of time because the movements just didn't fit me that well, didn't suit me as much as I like progress through a certain stage of them. But it came to a point I was like, I wasn't feeling it. And there's some weights I can shift a lot of load and I can feel it very well. There's some things I can shift a lot of load with and don't feel it very well. And there's like just no point in that. So especially my legs, because they're probably my best body part, or where my best body part still are. I can feel them no matter what I do, but there is definitely certain movements I will do in leg day that'll feel way better than others. So basically these are the movements I've went through the kit in this gym and I feel the best. Now, I'll never go straight into like my heavier compounds now. I'll always spend time warming up and going through a lot of accessory work to get my knees in a good place, get my hamstrings in a good place, and then when I feel they're good and ready, then I'll go into my bigger lifts. So back in the day when I was younger, I could go in, squat, and do leg press pretty easy, but now I'll do most of my accessory work first and get my knees good, feel in a comfortable place, get my hips nice and warm, and then I'll go. But I'll probably start with some stretches that I'll film, and then get into the first movement, which is going to be standing hamstring curl. Then I'll probably do adductor, which is light as fuck here, and I've got to do like 30 reps a set, but if you can just control the weight and move it well, you'll still get a good execution out of it. And then I'll do leg extensions, probably seated hand curl as well, and then I'll move through to doing my bigger lifts. Right, stretching for the hamstring. These are basically the main things I will do to stretch off my hamstring. So, heel elevation, try push down onto the knee and actually feel the hamstring like fully stretched there. Then just put one hand, easing it up towards my foot. This is obviously just a progressive thing. Once that feels quite comfortable, grab a toe, start pulling my toes back to me and start almost trying to keep pushing my knee into the floor. So it feels a little bit easier. Walk my fingers around my toes a little bit more. Keep holding that. And you'll feel it right in the belly of the hamstring, pulling from the glute as well. So you're getting a full stretch from the back of the knee right up to the tip of the glute. Hold this for about 45 seconds and then change legs. Now I'll probably do 3 rounds on each leg and then probably do most of my other activation work just by going onto the machine. Now, what I'll do is I'll do the 3 sets on each leg on this, and I'll move over to do my stretches on the quad. Now what I'm wanting to do here is stretch basically from my teardrop, which is just above the knee, right up to my hip. So right up through the rec fem hip flexor. Now what you want to do is get nice and comfortable and try and push your heel in towards your glute. Once that starts to get easier after about maybe 10-15 seconds, then you want to try and drive this knee into the floor by bending this knee, so like that. Pushing the knee back, and then you're going to feel more from the stretch from the middle of the quad and the rec fem right up through to your hip flexor. The further you can go down, pushing that knee back and into the floor, the more you're going to get that stretch, and it's sore, but it's good. Again, hold up to like 45 seconds, alternate legs, do 3 rounds on each. I'm pretty lucky the gym is quiet today so I can actually do this. Because honestly, see if this was crowded and me trying to do this for the first time, speaking, doing my fucking phone, Jesus. It wouldn't be easy, still isn't even, like I see when the gym's dead, it's quite odd. I just feel like I'm speaking to myself. Anyway, right, this will be my first movement, but obviously I'm going to probably run through say 5 to 6 warm-up sets just to really get as much blood into that as possible, make sure my knees feel good, make sure, as I said, got enough blood getting pushed around the actual hamstring itself and then get into a set. So this is just some of the warm-ups. Now typically I'll obviously do a lot more reps in my first warm-up sets, so probably looking anywhere between like 10 and 15 maybe here. Just control the weight, no point going through anything powerful. A good squeeze, control it down, squeeze, and just keep doing through that. That's fine. Change legs. Now, what you want to do is make sure your toes are trying to tuck into your shin. You're not trying to point them down like that. Keep your heel planted down and your toes tucked up. That's going to give your hamstring the most contraction, because essentially you're stretching from the calf there, which is also going to tighten up through the hamstring and give you a much better contraction. Now, one thing a lot of people, in my opinion, do wrong is they feel to warm up their knees, they should be doing leg extensions. Wrong. You should be doing hamstrings first to warm up your knees. All warming up your knees comes from the rear, comes from the tendons, ligaments in the rear. It doesn't actually come from your knee. A lot of people also associate knee pain with their actual knee. 9 times out of 10, it's actually coming from a tight calf or a tight hamstring, because they tie in behind your knee, and that's where the pain generates itself from. So if you ever have sore knees and you think it's coming from your knees, you're probably wrong. It's probably actually coming from a tight hamstring or a tight calf, potentially even a tight glutes, which is pulling through the hamstring, which is pulling through the knee. But if you want to obviously warm up your knees, start on this, where you're lying hamstring curl. You can do seated, but I think standing up in a much more straight position or horizontal position like lying, you're going to get much more knee activation warming up doing that instead of doing seated. Don't start off on leg extensions, because it doesn't actually warm up your knees. Right, first set. It's actually one heavier than last week, so that's good. Now, probably just aim for what? 8 to 10 here. Don't really want you to be going too heavy on someone like this to start off. If I get 6, I'm going to look stupid, but hopefully 8 to 10. Right. I've actually done 5 warm-up sets before this, so feeling pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. We'll call it 9.5. Oh. Good. Now, because I'm really trying to attack some sets, I'm not going to do 3 sets on stuff. Even auxiliary sets, unless I'm maybe doing higher rep stuff like leg extensions to the finish, I'll maybe go 3 sets. But I mean, the only time I'd ever do like 1 set of working kind of compound lifts would be deep in off season, or if I was doing a back off, like a kind of deload week. But basically now I'll do 2 sets and everything, and I'll have sore legs for 3-4 days. Like pretty decent sore legs, so I know that's definitely enough. I could probably even get away with a little less. Like I said, I connect very well with anything to do with my legs, so it's not like I have to do anything fancy. I've also great muscle mind connection, so 2 sets are definitely enough for me. So I'll do a back off on this, which I won't film, and then I'll go on to the adductor, which I'll run through. Now, as I said, this machine is super light. This is basically me away doing the full stack on my first set. Let me get to work. Alright, there we go. Now, I typically get quite a lot of clients, they'll dig their feet into the machine through the heels, and almost like when they're coming, closing it in, they'll dig their toes down and drive their toes in. That's not what you want to do. You want to try and keep your toes pointing out and your heels in, so you're really driving through the adductors in the middle part of your leg. Now, as I said, this is going to be pretty light, so if I can actually use my feet for anything, it's probably going to be easier. So what I'm wanting to almost do is hang, so I've got nothing to dig. My feet are pretty loose. And then just slowly contract in. And also, if I wanted to, that's how light it is. So just trying to use just the muscles, which you'll mostly start to feel about here, then just squeeze, hold, out slow. As I said, if you don't have a lot of weight, you find these quite easy, and I don't have any way of actually stacking this, so just trying to make it as hard as possible by doing it like this. I'm going to get much more out of it than just trying to do repetitions. So that's what I'll do basically for 3 sets. This is the only thing I'll do 3 sets on, just purely because it's too light. Now, this starts to burn very, very quickly, doing it like this. It's when that burn becomes almost intolerable. I'll just slowly start repping out. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. Fuck it on fire. 2. Oh, they're burning. And that's what I've got to do 1 set on that. So as you'll see, there was no warm up. I was like 30, probably something reps, so 3 sets of them, and that is basically me done on this. Obviously I would like a much heavier machine, heavier stack, but you'll work with what you got. Prime seated hamstring curl. I'm sure everybody will admit, probably one of the best seated hamstring curls there is. Probably some of the older pieces that are really quite fancy, that are very well designed. I'll probably have a better feeling, but in terms of obviously, as you guys know, having the 3 variations of loading, you can obviously have it drop off in the end, drop off at the start, whatever you're really wanting to target. I'm keeping mine basically just in the middle, kind of still wanting everything to obviously just be go for. I'm not taxed out, I've not done my bigger movements yet, so my hamstrings are still pretty fresh, so I just want the same carve the whole way through, same kind of tension from start to finish, not wanting to drop off or get tougher anywhere, just the same right through. So I've done 3 warm-up sets, which feel like enough is now because I've already done, like I said, 1 hamstring movement, standing, and now on to this for the final hamstring movement of the day. And then we'll actually move through to squats. So, let's go. Okay, set. Again, I'll do one back off here. Usually if I'm monster laced with a stack, probably drop like 2 pins, 2 pinholes, do a back off with that. Probably just a touch more tempo than that, because obviously when I'm going heavier, I really do like to control the eccentric, just to get a little bit more out of it. Just make it a little bit harder as well, just be under more control with heavier weights so I don't injure myself. But when I back the weight off, I do like to also get a little bit more reps in. So again, I won't film that. We'll pick up at squats. Right, big one. If anyone's actually ever used the machine, you'll actually know the plates in the back is fucking heavy. If you actually put the plates further forwards on the drop-off, so it's so much lighter. So if you do 5 at the back, it's pretty fucking heavy. I was actually told, not last week, the week before, that the owner told me that he's not actually seen anybody do 5 plates in the back, so pretty happy with that, and I'm natty. Come on. Oh, shit. I'll be honest. I do not feel good. I'll be honest. I actually didn't feel good. Don't know why. Didn't feel it really anywhere. I just felt like there was a fuck ton of blood in my quads, or it was just like a stinging sensation. Didn't feel like anything was going wrong. But yeah, I had better sets on it. To be fair, I've been really trying to get back into training like the last few weeks, really trying to get numbers back up, getting quite strong again, and well, as much as I can be while I'm not on the gas. But I mean, it's been feeling pretty good, that machine. Other machines in the gym don't feel as good, like the hack squat I don't like. I could do Smith squats. There's a few leg presses, a few variations of squat machines, but definitely this one I love the most. But it's just one of those weeks. Not every week's going to feel fantastic while you train. I've had many good weeks strung together, so I can't complain. I'm not going to walk away from the session feeling annoyed. It just is what it is. But as obviously my heavier set, I'll do a back off, which I'll probably film as well. And See how it goes, then we'll move over to squat press. Right, back off set. Now, I usually give myself easily 5 minutes or more between these sets, just because I really want to fill my gas tanks, because this is obviously going to be a lot more demanding cardiovascular wise, a lot more rep range, pumping out a lot of weight. Your heart rate will pick up very, very quick. So making sure your gas tank is fully charged so you can get a good set is obviously very optimal. So that's what I'll do. Now, hopefully this set feels better than the first one. I can find out. Right. Come on. One. Okay, quads are on fire that time. Ooh. That was better. Right, I'm actually going to do conventional leg press today. One, because somebody's on squat press. Two, I can't be fucked loading all those plates and loading them off. That honestly takes easily half an hour. So, can't be asked today, normal. I've not actually used this, so still trying to figure out the settings. I've just moved the foot plate 2 clicks because it was basically that instead of flat, so it's now flat. Back rest I might need to adjust, it's a little bit too far back potentially, but we'll see how this feels. The only problem with this is the gap between the backrest and the foot plate. I'm a little bit, I don't want to say fat, just fucking not flexible. Ooh. That feels pretty good actually. One thing I've actually started doing on the leg press, same as squat press, is when I get down the bottom, I actually lift my heels off the foot plate, put a lot more pressure through basically the middle part, just past the arch onto the ball of my foot, and from the bottom pressing through my quad there. Don't try and press through the calf, try and take it in through the quad and it will naturally go back into the heel and you'll drive through. But being able to go onto that front part of the foot is obviously a lot more ankle flexion. If you can actually keep the pressure for a stimulus on your quads, you're going to get so much more quad stretch from that, which will equivalent to much more growth. You're making that obviously much more vulnerable because it's obviously a lot of weight. You just have to be very careful when transferring that onto that part of your foot that it doesn't go into the calf, because when this gets heavy and you try and transfer that to almost like a calf press at the bottom, when your quads are fully stretched, might not go so well. Let's see how this goes. So those black plates are actually 25s. So what's that? 4, 5. It's actually 10 plates. 10 plates. since the blacks would be 20, yeah, 10 plates basically. So it's okay, this leg press, it's not the worst, but at the bottom it's stiff. So to come out the hole is quite stiff. So if it wasn't so bad, I'd probably might try another plate, but just to be on the safe side, first time using it, let's go with this. Right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Fuck, that thing's a grind to get up. Fucking problem is, fucking handles. You're like, further down. Oh. Oh, I felt that. It sets like this. You really do miss a bit of assistance. Getting like 16 plates aside on the Cybex leg press, 9.5 each side, the Cybex hack. Now to this, struggle for even endurance side of things, so it's definitely here you missed some assistance, really bumping out those big reps, sorry, big numbers, even big reps as well. So, but you still train just as hard, obviously. And this is me like 9 months now, basically retired, kind of non-assisted DRT. And it definitely does pay its toll. Sometimes you'll notice on recovery, but when obviously your strength drops off, you will notice like straight away you just can't do those numbers, so you won't try. But I mean, as long as you're still training hard, as long as your diet is still decent, I'm holding on to some pretty decent size still. I'll try when I want to for obviously as long as I possibly can. So yeah, as long as you still push yourself in the sets, you're still going to get a decent physique out of it, or still hold a decent physique. Right, final set. Let's try to get some numbers of this. Come on. One thing you'll notice I'll do on this, I'll slightly keep my toes out, feet quite a narrow stance, and when I'm coming down, I'll actually almost like push my knees out like a plie, my legs open, to get that good adductor stretch as well. I'm going to try and use all of my upper leg. Right. Right, last and final movement of the day. Now, what I've done is put it on the second where it drops off at the end. Like, my quads and my legs in general are pretty dead after all we've just done. So trying to get this full range of movement up to the top part to squeeze is pretty tough. So if I can get a little bit heavier in the beginning, where muscles still got a little bit of power, I can manage to finish off and squeeze the rep up a little bit more. So the good thing about these Prime machines, you can obviously set it to wherever you are in the session, wherever you want to work, you want to be, get a little bit more emphasis at the start of the rep, towards the end of the rep, or make it harder at the end, wherever. Another good thing about them is if you ever watch JP do his sets, sometimes he won't even change the weight he actually uses, he'll just shift it across the pins. So obviously he'll start off with the heaviest at the beginning of the rep for set 1, if he goes all the way to set 3, and he's right at the end of the pins. Same thing where it drops off at the end. So he can obviously get that to shift, make it harder as he sets going without changing the weight, so it's quite clever. But I'm not going to do anything crazy weight, probably do more volume here just to really finish off the legs. And like I said, I want to obviously try and get full extension and just squeeze off the quad as much as I can. Yep. I'll do one more set of them and be done. Don't know if I'll change the weight, that felt quite good, so I'll probably do one more of them and I'll give you a little wrap up at the end. Yeah, people, that's a wrap. So, as you see, none too fancy, pretty basic. No fancy drop sets, no fancy intensifiers, straight sets, load and back off. Picking machines that I feel are suited to me, what I feel works. Rep ranges, I feel work well with those machines. Again, work well with me. And this is just me being very intuitive in my body, which I've obviously been able to adapt over time. Not everybody's going to have that mind-muscle connection, especially with like legs. A lot of people struggle. But one tip I will give you is don't look at pieces of kit thinking it looks great, or you see people, like an influencer or someone you look up to, someone you follow, and they say a piece of kit, like I want to shot that, and like keep battering away at it thinking because it works for them or they say it's amazing, it's going to work for you. It doesn't work like that. You really need to pick pieces of machines that work well for you, that you feel. So it could be boring, it could be like stuff you hate, but that's the fucking exercise that works for you, that grows your legs or whatever body part. You have to keep fucking doing it, and it's just how it is. There's so many machines I would love to keep doing every week, but just don't work for me. Like I love using them, but I don't connect well with them. Like there's some machines I connect very well with, but I don't actually like using them, but they fucking hit. So if you want progress, this is where the kind of sacrifice comes in. You've got to sometimes do stuff you don't want to do, and that's just how it is. Now, as I said, stuff's not really fancy doing legs for me. I do it quite basic because, as I said at the start, I feel mostly everything doing legs. But one thing today I was a bit gutted about was the squat machine. Usually I feel that very well, probably more so of any other machine in the gym for squatting. The pendulum's okay, but if I do it too many consecutive weeks, my knees take a bit of a hit. The hack gear I don't like at all. But yeah, the squat machine I really like because you can kind of almost do it as like a safety squat, like a front squat, and you feel a lot in the quads. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite machines in the gym. But today I don't know what it was. That first set with the load, it didn't feel great. And then when I went to the second set, I felt like I was being a bit cautious with the depth in case I felt like that stretch in my quads again, like they were just packed with blood. Do you ever get that sensation like if you've just rinsed your quads and they're just bursting with blood, and you go do like say a squat or something, it literally feels like you've just ripped your quad, but it's not. It's just because there's so much pressure in that quad. You're going down, you're trying to stretch that fascia tissue, and there's just so much blood trapped in it, and it just feels like it's tearing. That's what it felt like in that set, even though I still tried to go as heavy as I could. It just didn't feel great. And as I said, when that second set I was a little bit not ideal. The leg press was good, not the best leg presses, but I felt it well. Definitely feel the squat press more, so I'll probably go on to that next week. Again, it's just a ball ache putting all those plates on it and then taking them off. Just takes ages to build it up. But yeah, it's fine. One fucking guilty pleasure I love is these things. I don't know if anybody remembers them, but I've got in the machine here, 50 carb, 50 protein, so excuse me, ideal for post-workout. I usually get the vanilla, but they're out, so chocolate today. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little talk through leg day. And if you obviously want to see more, comment, usual shit, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.